I
Okay.
want to thank everyone for joining us today in the honor of my daughter. I started Erica Denise Jackson Foundation so that other people can be educated on different things shared with the community. And now I would like to introduce you to Rosalind Caldwell. She's going to do a scripture and a prayer.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning and good afternoon. The scripture today is Philippians 4 and 6. It is simple. It says, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. Amen. God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for such a time as this, God. This is the day you have made. We will rejoice and be glad in this beautiful day. Bless everyone on this line and their families, God. Let us have attentive ears, Lord, as we're listening, so we can have health and we will be all right in Jesus' name. And now I'd like to introduce you to Katie. I want to get it correctly. Is it Narayo?
It's Nerio. But good try.
Naria.
Thank you. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Katie.
it.
It's in your hands.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, okay, so I know it's week 2, and I know a lot of you guys joined me last week, so that's very exciting. But I just want to see if is it anyone's first time today? And if it's your first time joining, can you go ahead and see if you can use a little reaction icon with a thumbs up or hands up, just if it's your first time being part of this program today. Anybody's first time? Okay, it seems like it's everyone joined last week, right?
No,
Yes.
Apparently, Alejandro, no one?
I think I don't see Celine Patterson on our list from the first time. I don't see Gerald Clark.
I'm the intern.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Celine.
And how about Gerald?
Gerald, I don't see him on the list, so we may have to speak to him to get him consented.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send Maricela and Gerald to a room. I think those are the only. I think he's the only name I
Yes.
see. Okay. Let's do
Thank
that.
you, everyone.
Okay. And the reason why I asked if it was your first time, because you would be joining Maricela, which is someone who's working with me, part of this team, and she will be explaining the program for you to those who are is their first time this week. Get you consented and enrolled. It is the last week to register for the program, so we wanted to go ahead and get that started. And just a little reminder, we did have missing emails from last week. So Alejandro will be reaching out to you individually through the chat. So if you use the bottom icon of your screen, you'll see a little chat. Just keep a look at if Alejandro is reaching out to you to ask you for your email and contact information so we could send you the survey link. For those who already got the survey link, please complete that as soon as possible. And for those who didn't, please let us know in the chat as well so we could get that to you as soon as possible. And again, I know it seems a little bit too much last week and this week, but don't worry. On the weekly basis, you should only be receiving an email with the presentation, with the food recipe, and the Zoom link. Another reminder, the Zoom link is not changing. The Zoom link is the same one throughout the program. I just go ahead and send that to you so you could have it on the top of your email inbox, okay? But it's the same Zoom link. You're welcome to invite other people and share the Zoom link with them, but they're no longer going to be able to register to the program and be eligible for the Fitbit, but they're welcome to audit the program, and they could be part of the email list to receive the weekly presentations and recipe. And then just FYI as well, the survey link is a personalized link. So you can't share the link. It's only for one person. So if you did share it, unfortunately it did not work. So just let us know if you did not receive it, so we can get that to you as soon as possible. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with today's presentation. Bear with me. Okay, so today's presentation for the first week of the program, well, actually it's the second week, right? Since last week was the first. We start off the program with explaining the 5 food groups. We use a resource called ChooseMyPlate. We use a resource where you could find more information of everything I talked about under choosemyplate.gov. And basically, what this is a tool that is designed to remind all Americans to eat healthy. So growing up, we learned the food groups through a pyramid, right? But how do you apply all that information on in your everyday decisions and even a meal, right? So now there's this wonderful, colorful resource called ChooseMyPlate.gov where you are welcome to use it and find all this information and healthy recipes. And they have tons of tools and resources. And this design is wonderful because you could actually apply it to your everyday meals. So as you can tell, it is covered with different colors. And basically, it's important for us to use as many food groups in every meal because it's the building blocks to a healthy diet. Okay, we can't just have protein for dinner, right? We can't just have cereal for lunch. You want to add as many of the food groups as possible in every meal. So what I do throughout the program is all the recipes that I share, they're going to have at least a minimum of 3 food groups in each of the meals. I try to incorporate at least 3, but if you could add 4 and 5, that's the optimal goal. Okay, so this My Plate is wonderful because it's a familiar image and you could actually use it as a place setting for a meal. One thing that you can see by just looking at this photo of My Plate is that we have to learn and make a habit to make half our plate fruits and vegetables, okay, which is very hard. So I know that the survey is asking for 3 goals, right? And if you already completed the survey and you already have these awesome 3 goals, great. If you're working on those 3 goals, this is a wonderful goal. I even have to work on it throughout my life. Like I seriously, it's hard to maintain, but it is not impossible. Is try making your plate half fruit and vegetables by choosing the fruits and vegetables that you're going to have and placing that in your plate first, on your plate first. So for example, when you're invited to a birthday party, when you are invited to a barbecue, what is the first thing that we go for? And this is a small group, so you could chime in if you like, if you're want to make this more interactive. What is the first thing you go for?
Protein, the meat.
The meat, right? So if you're going through a barbecue, you're waiting for those chicken barbecue to be done. You're waiting for that carne asada. You're waiting for that burger, but there is nothing on your plate until the protein is done. So what happens when we go for the protein first? So I'll go ahead and answer that. So what happens is that we end up covering our plate with the protein. Then there's no more room for salad, right? So what do we normally say? Oh, I'll get salad after. But then the protein was so good that you don't go for the salad after, right? So one of the things that we could start off with, and I'm not telling you not to enjoy your food, right? I'm not telling you not to eat that barbecue chicken legs. I'm not telling you not to have that carne asada. I'm telling you to just go for the salad first, right? So you at least, we focus more on the nutrients rather than the calories. So, and like I said, it's something that I work on the daily basis, right? So it's hard, but it's not impossible. So that is something that we could work on. And like I told you, this program is not shaped for you to, start this diet for 12 weeks. You're going to lose all this weight. No, right? This program is shaped and developed for you to be able to pick up and make healthier lifestyle choices, right? That you could, take along with you even after the program is done. So that's one of them. And again, also you see that My Plate is filled with different colors, the more colors that your plate is, the more colorful your plate, the more different variety of different nutrients that you're consuming. Okay, so here are a few tips as well that you could find in choosemyplate.gov. Is, like I mentioned before, balancing calories, enjoy your food, but eat less. Do not eat oversized portions. Go for the salad first, right? Get that salad on your plate, you know, pair it with some protein and some grains. And you'll notice that the protein section of my plate is actually the smallest, but we tend to make it the biggest. So that is another way to kind of focus on making healthier choices. Foods to increase is make at least half your grains whole grains. And I'll go ahead and talk about whole grains and refined grains further on in the presentation. And I'll go ahead and tell you what the difference is. And then switch to fat-free and low-fat milk. Also, compare the sodiums in foods like soup, bread, frozen meals. Choose foods that are lower, have lower numbers of sodium. Another cool way to reduce your sodium intake is try to avoid processed foods, period. Make your own frozen meals, right? Cook, eat dinner, and then all the leftovers, buy those Tupperwares and make your own frozen meals. Throw it in the freezer and there you go. You made your own frozen meals. You know exactly what you have made. Even when it comes down to like macaroni and cheese, make your own macaroni and cheese and you know exactly what you're using, right? You're choosing the milk, the dairy that you're gonna make it with. You're choosing the cheese. You're choosing the macaroni, right? You can use whole grain macaroni instead of refined grains. So, you know, make your own foods. And another habit that is extremely hard to break and easy goal that you could focus on during this program and to take along with you is making your beverages water, right? Every time we have a dinner, we think we need to have iced tea, we need to have soda, we need to have juice, when in reality, all you need is water. Okay, so I started off making those switches slowly. For example, one of the big ones, which we haven't been able to do because we've been quarantined and because of the pandemic, right? But one of the biggest habits when you go to a restaurant is what? What is the first thing that they ask you? Can anyone share?
Who wants a drink?
Yes. What are you having today? We have, and they named all the different sodas, they name all the teas, the juices, etc. So then you go ahead and ask, you go ahead and let them know, okay, I want Coke, a Coca-Cola or Pepsi. What is the first thing that they bring to you? The drink. And then when your meal gets served, what do they ask you then? Would you want a refill? And every time we hear the word free, we want it for some reason, right? We want it. It's free. I'm paying for it already. I'm going to drink another one. So those are things that we want to break, right? Maybe you want to, hey, think about it. If you don't order drinks, the next time you go have dinner at a restaurant with your family, see how much money you save. So now you're focusing on how much money you're saving, but also how many empty calories you're consuming and how much sugar you're avoiding by not having these sugar-sweetened beverages. Next week, I'll go ahead and talk about sugar-sweetened beverages and we'll focus on that. We'll even do a little skill building where we will actually learn how to understand those labels on those beverages and calculate how much sugar is in each of those drinks, okay? So I'll leave that conversation as for next week. So let's go ahead and jump back in food groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and talk about all the 5 food groups. I'm going to give you some tips of how to incorporate them into your meals and also all the health benefits of having a variety of foods from these foods from different food groups. Okay, so I'm going to pair fruits and vegetables when I talk to them in one. Just know both of them are naturally low in fat, sodium, and calories. The only difference between fruits and vegetables is that fruits have natural sugars. So it's recommended that you have at least 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables servings a day. Okay, we need to not confuse servings with the size of fruits and the vegetables, because not one apple does not equal to 1 serving. It could even be more than that. depending on the size of the apple. And I'll go ahead and elaborate on portion size and serving size further on in the program. But you want to have at least minimum of 5 to 9 servings a day of fruits and vegetables. You could have unlimited amount of vegetables because they do not have the natural sugar. So you want to limit the amount of fruits. And for some reason, it's just so much easier to have fruits, right, on the go. You could get an apple, you could take a banana, you could take strawberries. So we have to be careful. A lot of the times for us to be able to incorporate more vegetables, we got to prepare them and make them available, easily available and visible for us. So a little technique that I do is I peel some carrot sticks, I cut up some celery sticks, and I leave it in my dining table for that day. So now when I'm hungry, when I'm bored, let's be honest, because we eat when we're bored. And now with this pandemic, come on, now everyone's becoming chefs now, right? So make them available, leave them on your dining table, and just, there you go. You're picking up some and adding some vegetables into your day, and minimizing the accessibility of how much fruit we eat. Because like I said, fruits is just such an easy item to just pick up and go, or just have it handy. So we got to, utilize and make fruit and prepared in that same way. So fruits and vegetables are filled with tons of nutrients, like potassium, dietary fiber, vitamin C, folic acid. In order to get the most out of the fruits and vegetables, you want to try to choose and pick fruits and vegetables where you could eat the peel. I'm not going to say you're going to eat the banana peel. I did not say that, right? There's a few fruits and vegetables that you have to peel. But for example, apples, don't peel them. Eat the outside. That's where most all the nutrients are at. I'll give you another example. It's like cucumber, right? There's different kinds of cucumbers. There's the regular cucumber that you have to peel because the outside is very thick. And then there's the English cucumber that's very long, usually comes sealed in plastic. That one, if you wash it really good, you can actually eat the outside of it. So even if you're paying a few more cents, you're getting most for your money, right? You're actually paying for the nutrients that you're going to consume. So those are just kind of things to think about when you're going out there and choosing some fruits and vegetables. Again, if you eat the outside, it has tons of fiber. So avoid making orange juice and try to eat the orange, right? Because it has all the nice, delicious fiber that helps you reduce your blood cholesterol level, lower your risk of heart disease. All the fiber helps you stay full longer and helps you digest your food. And it actually helps regulate your blood sugar. We'll talk about that when we talk about whole grains. And obviously, something that we're all, totally really want right now is vitamin C, right? To help us fight all those illnesses, including COVID, right? So, like I mentioned, eating a variety of fruits and vegetables, all I got to say is remember to taste the rainbow, okay? The more colorful of options that you're choosing and bringing home with you, the more nutrients you're consuming. Let's try to focus more on the nutrients rather than the calories. All of this will help you reduce your risk of stroke, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers, and be very useful to helping lower your calorie intake too, right? Because we're not just snacking on unhealthy things. We have all these fruits and vegetables available for us. So as I mentioned before, keep them visible as a reminder, right? If you know that you consume so many fruits, but you're not doing so well with vegetables, cut up some carrots, cut up some celery sticks, make them available in your dining table so you could just pick it up right away when you're near them. Another good technique is to have a variety of fruits and vegetables throughout the year is buy in season, right? So a lot of times we're saying eating healthy is so expensive, but there's all these different techniques to debunk that myth, right? Like buying fruits in season. So in grocery stores, you'll notice that the fruit and vegetables that are in season will be located in the front. If you kind of focus on always purchasing the ones that are in season, you'll kind of go through different choices throughout the year. And another cool technique that you could do too is choose a fruits and vegetable that you have never worked with, you have never used. We have Pinterest, we have YouTube now. and look up how you could cook it, and you know, it's a new activity. It's a new fruit and vegetable that you could, you know, introduce to your family. Make it an activity. If you have children, have them choose a new fruit and vegetable, and you guys could try it all together. So there's little techniques in helping the whole family get involved when it comes to eating healthy. And then think of variety, right? You could have them dry, you could have frozen, you could have them canned. Canned is obviously not the best option, but it's not the worst, right? I always tell everyone, you know what's the worst? Not having fruits and vegetables at home, right? Let's say you have fresh ones, they're gone. You have frozen ones, those are gone. And then you kind of catch yourself sitting down. You're like, oh, there's nothing to eat. I'm gonna go get takeout. No, you could go and look at what canned options you have. It's definitely better than going and getting takeout. Okay, so include it in your breakfast, include it fruits and vegetables in your lunch, experiment with fruits in your dinner, right? You could use mango to kind of give your fish flavor. There's so many different things that you could do to incorporate fruits and vegetables in every meal every day. Our goal is to make half our plate with fruits and vegetables, right? And then, as I mentioned, I'll go ahead and share all these different recipes throughout the program. And then also, I'm not here just to share everything I know, right? I also want to learn from you. So if there's techniques or recipes that you would like to share or kind of give an idea, please write it in the chat. Share some links or anything that you think that somebody else could also gain from. Just make sure that it's peer reviewed and it's not something you downloaded from Facebook, right? That perhaps is not credible. But and if you have doubt, share it and we could, you know, make that decision together. Okay, so I talked about fruits and vegetables already. Here's just an example of the nutrients that vegetables have. You know, they're again potassium, fiber, just like fruits. I mentioned folic acid as well. They have vitamin A, vitamin C. Just depending on what you're consuming, will have different nutrients. Again, all these PowerPoint presentations, I'm sending it to you. It has a lot more information that I'm summarizing. So if there's anything that you read that you know, are questioning it or don't understand, please feel free to email me. Or if, let's say, you know, you couldn't remember the question during the class, again, you could reach out to me, and I would love to send you more information or, you know, just look over it with you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the grain food group. The grains. So there's two different types of grains. There's whole grains and refined grains. Refined grains are processed basically, and they remove the bran and the germ. And the only reason why they do that is because it has a longer shelf life. It's not really to benefit the consumers, more to benefit the manufacturers, right? Whole grains contain the entire grain, kernel, bran, germ, and endosperm. I'm sorry. It's the healthier option. All we ask is for you to at least make half your grains on the daily basis whole grains. Okay, we're not asking for everything to be whole grains, at least half. Whole grains are high in fiber. It's a wonderful way to stay full. So today's recipe, I'm going to go ahead and talk about oatmeal, overnight oats. It is actually my favorite breakfast. I eat it Monday through Friday. I love it because it's very economical, right? So we're debunking the myth that eating healthy is expensive, and because it keeps me full longer. So I love it. I don't have to be, you know, like I know I'm working from home now, so I can't really give that example. But last year, prior to the pandemic, I actually loved making my overnight oats because, again, I also would debunk the myth that I don't have time to eat healthy, right? It's easier to go to the McDonald's drive-thru, right? No. So what I would do is I would prepare my overnight oats, throw it in the refrigerator in the morning, wake up, get ready, add the I would add a little bit more milk, seal my overnight oats because I use a mason jar that I will show you today. Throw it in my purse, and then I would eat my breakfast at work. So, and I loved it because it would keep me full longer. right? So I could actually eat my breakfast and wait till lunch to have my second meal. When I would eat, like, let's say scrambled eggs with spinach and some vegetables, which is also very good, right? Or my avocado toast, which is also very good, I actually would get hungry faster. Like an hour, 2 hours later, I was already looking for a snack. So that's just an example of how delicious and filling oatmeal is. And it also, so whole grains also has vitamin B, which plays a key role in your metabolism. So and iron. So it has all these different nutrients. So if you notice, some nutrients overlap with other food groups, but each food group has its role in its essential importance for our bodies. Okay, so as again I said, make half your grains whole grains on the daily basis. You do want to be careful. Oh, one suggestions that I say also do is, especially if you've never really done whole grains, I remember I used to be that girl who was like, look for the most fluffiest white bread ever, right? You just wanted the fluffiest. It was so good and delicious, right? Be careful when you're doing these switches. First of all, advertising will tell you, this is 100% whole grain. It'll even give you a little heart picture. It will, sell you the product, but it's not necessarily whole grain. So I will also have a class where I teach you how to read and understand food labels, and I would explain to you how to identify what is whole grain. And I'll go ahead and give you the first tip. Is in the ingredients of the product, the first ingredient must say 100% whole wheat. If it says enriched or bleached, it is not whole grain, even if it has whole grains in the front logo. And I'll go in detail at week 4 on how to read and understand food labels. So don't miss that class, okay? And also, if you're making that switch, okay, you might not fall in love with the first whole grain bread that you buy, okay? Don't get discouraged. Buy different type of breads, right? Let's say let's say whole grain Sara Lee didn't work. Then that's fine. Try a different bread. Sometimes you even have to go to different grocery stores to buy different things. I never understood that until I started doing my own groceries and cooking. I don't go to one grocery store to find all my products. I literally go to Sprouts for certain things. I even go to Walmart for certain things because they're cheaper. I go to Costco for other items. You just have to explore different stores and different products to find what works for you. There's no point of switching and making healthier decisions and buying healthier products if you don't eat it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, and then try different things. You could try whole grain pasta. You could try, bulgur. There's just different brown rice. You could get your whole grain on the daily basis with different products. It doesn't always have to be oatmeal or whole wheat bread. It could be different ways, different ingredients. So here's it kind of explaining to you what I just mentioned about the ingredients and what whole grain ingredients is. So look for the word whole wheat, brown rice, bulgur, buckwheat, oatmeal, whole grain cornmeal, etc. Those are just different examples of how to find products that are whole wheat. Don't go based on the advertisement in the front label. Go based on the ingredient list. So now we're going to go ahead and jump on dairy. So dairy includes all fluid milk products, okay? For it to be part of the dairy group, it must have enough calcium, right? Calcium, dairy, that's the connection we always make. So I'm going to start off by saying cream cheese and butter is not part of the dairy group. So there's that. Disappointing, right? It was disappointing for me to hear. I love cream cheese. Now, what I have done now, I don't buy cream cheese. I buy ricotta cheese, ricotta cheese, ricotta. I always say it weird. Everyone always says I say it weird. But I use that as my cream cheese. And then, if I do like a bagel and then I do ricotta, and then you could add some fresh fruit, and there you go. Great replacement. It's not exactly the same, but trust me, once you stop eating cream cheese and you go to ricotta, you won't even tell the difference. You won't know what you miss. But if you could bring cream cheese back into your diet, then you will continuously miss it. That's my suggestions when you make changes all the time. So, and you'll notice that I give you suggestions and I talk a lot about what I do, and it's true stories. Okay, don't think I'm here just reading off a script. I'm actually really like, this is my life. I actually, it's a constant battle to make these switches. So I'm suggesting things that I have to actually do myself. Okay. So a yogurt, okay, yogurt is also, I skipped the cheeses, but yes, we have all these different type of cheeses. When it comes to make cooking, it's better for you to make your own food and select healthier cheeses. So be careful with ricotta and cottage cheese, it's usually high in sodium, but it's a great source of protein as well. So it's really good. Just you got to find the products that don't have that much sodium, or depending on how you're using it, right? You're not going to add sodium to your meal because you add ricotta. So, just be careful when you use these ingredients. And then for yogurt, okay, yogurt, we don't give yogurt enough credit from this food group. Okay, a lot of times we just think, oh, I don't like yogurt, right? Because you think Greek yogurt, you have to have plain Greek yogurt, right? You don't want all that sugary added sugars with that fruit yogurt. So that's off the list. You're doing Greek yogurt, right? Plain Greek yogurt, awesome, great source of protein and dairy, right? So if you're not a yogurt fan and you don't want to add your own fruit to your yogurt, that's fine. You could actually use yogurt in different ways. So I'll tell you my tip. I actually use plain Greek yogurt. I add a dash of lemon, a little bit of salt, and now I have my own sour cream. And I use that for my tacos. I use that for my beans. I use that for my enchiladas, whatever works for you, right? Also, Greek yogurt, when you're making Alfredo sauce, you use half and half cream, or you use whole milk, right, to make that Alfredo sauce with Parmesan cheese. Well, I actually add some Greek yogurt to my Alfredo sauce. So now I'm adding a little more nutrients into these meals, right? So like I said, I'm not telling you never have Alfredo sauce or Alfredo pasta, right? I'm saying prepare your own Alfredo pasta, right? You could choose the pasta to be whole grain. You could choose the milk that you're adding to make this Alfredo sauce. Like I mentioned, I even incorporate plain Greek yogurt to give it that thick consistency. And now I'm also adding some healthy dairies and proteins to the sauce. And I'll go ahead and show you. I think I choose one recipe throughout this program of how I use Greek yogurt when I cook a hot meal. Okay, so we know that it's high in calcium. Vitamin D is very important. That's where we get it from the dairy group. And it's also high in potassium. Just like I mentioned, try to choose products that are low in fat and fat-free. We do not need to drink whole milk. It's really high in fat, so it's not needed. It's not needed for our diets. So try to make those switches. Okay, those are a few suggestions. Again, you have all this information. And now we're going to jump to protein, which is actually everyone's favorite food group, right? Let's be honest, a meal is not complete unless it has protein, right? At least that's how I feel. And if I'm wrong, let me know. How do you do it? Okay. So basically, all foods made from meat, poultry, fish, dried beans, peas, eggs, nuts, seeds are considered part of this group. When we come to choosing our meats and poultry, choose lean or low fat. Let's say you're making a soup and you want the fat to flavor your food, right? Because there's 3 things that flavor food: fat, salt, or sodium. 3 things we got to be careful with. If we're using the fat for the flavor, just make sure you kind of clean out that the top of the soup and remove all the excess fat. There's different techniques, right, where you can make your food healthier. So again, try to use lean and low fat. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, it's such a disappointment if you did not know this, but you only want to try to consume meats 2 to 3 times a week, right? We do it on a daily basis. We have meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? We have steak and eggs. We have sandwiches for lunch or chicken salads. And then for dinner, we're having barbecue chicken wings or, you know, whatever you choose, right? A whole chicken. I don't know. Couldn't think of anything for some reason. I kept thinking salmon because I'm gonna make salmon today. So I think I had that. But anyways, disappointing, right? You want to just limit to two to three times a week, but it's recommended, right? Red meat is actually linked to higher increase of developing colon cancer and prostate cancer. So it's not recommended for us to have it on a daily basis. So not only do we not want you to have it 3 times a day, but we want you to limit to 3 times a week if possible. The way you could do that is by incorporating some chicken, incorporating some eggs. Eggs is actually really good. It's a really filling and nutritious food. We have to be careful. If you do have high cholesterol, you want to limit to 1 egg a day. But eggs is a great source of protein. And my favorite protein, I will be honest, and I want to say it became my favorite during when I got pregnant. So I actually was pregnant. I just had my baby, just FYI, my baby's 9 months. And for some reason, when I was pregnant, all I could do is eat beans. And now it has become my favorite protein. And black beans to be specific, because both my parents are Central American. So that's where I get all the black beans from. But so we got to give beans credit. A lot of times we treat it like a side dish when in reality, it could be the main entree. Beans are delicious, okay? There's some variety of different beans. There's black beans, black-eyed peas. There's pinto beans. There's red beans. There's chickpeas. There's lentils, right? Before I used to make lentil soup and add meat to it for it to be a lentil soup. But we don't have to add the meat. Lentil soup is delicious just by itself, right? We had some delicious veggies, and lentil soup it's a meal. Okay, so just try to appreciate beans for what they are. It could be the main entree. It does not have to be the side dish. And then we have nuts and seeds that are also really nutritious. We just have to be careful. They're high in calorie, but they do have healthy fats. A good portion of nuts and seeds is eat whatever fits in your palm. So, that's a good portion. Sorry if you have small hands. That means less nuts for you, less nuts and seeds, but that's basically how you measure a good amount of portion for nuts and seeds, okay? So fish, you want to at least incorporate at least twice a week. You see how it becomes easier, right? When I just talk about meats and you're like, oh my gosh, just 2 and 3, but there's actually tons of options, right? There's fish that you could incorporate different types of fish. There's and even shellfish. Be careful with shellfish. They're higher in fat, which could raise your cholesterol. Okay, so again, we have to be careful because diets that are high in saturated fats could raise your bad cholesterol. We'll focus on one presentation as well on cholesterol and heart disease. I will specifically talk about how which type of food raises your bad, which type of food raises your good. We'll go ahead and talk about how to understand your lab results, right? Because you have triglycerides, you have bad cholesterol, you have good cholesterol, you have all these numbers, and you're just kind of like, okay, let me know, am I sick or am I not, right? Well, we're gonna try to explain all of those test results for you to be able to understand your lab results and be able to make those healthy decisions based on that, right? So health benefits of protein, again, there's vitamin E, iron, zinc, magnesium. And again, it says choose seafood twice a week, vary your protein, right? Let's try to focus on that plant-based protein. I'm not saying to become vegetarian. I'm just saying have a variety of protein. Make meat and poultry lean and low fat, and then have some eggs. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end the presentation. I know there's a lot of information. Again, don't get overwhelmed. Ask, you feel free to email me if you have any questions.
There's a question right now about the amount of meat a week.
A week, I limit 2 to 3. Okay, let's start with 3 because I know 2 seems like what? That's impossible. So at least 3 times a week limit. I mean, you could have 3 times a week.
And then
I mean,
they're
3
also
times a
asking
week. I'm
what
sorry.
amount. like how much? What defines an amount that you're supposed to have for a
Like
serving?
portion?
Yeah, like portion.
Portion. Perfect. I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you. And I will mention that in other presentations, but a good portion size for me is the size of your palm and the thickness of a deck of cards. And like I said, I'm sorry if you have small hands, but that's how you measure it. Okay, the size of your palm and the thickness of a deck of cards. That's why I have to mention the thickness, right? Because I don't want you to go get a 2-inch or 1-inch New York steak the size of your palm. Doesn't work that way. Okay, any more questions? We're gonna go ahead and dive into the food demonstration. If you have questions, write it in the chat. If you forget to ask any questions during the presentation, you can email me. I'm just gonna talk about the food demo very quickly because we are running out of time. But the recipe that I talked about today that I sent you guys for this week is overnight oats. Okay, so I use Quaker oats, old fashioned. There's different kinds. There's the One Quick, there's old fashioned, there's rolled oats, and there's which is the other one? I just mentioned it. I forgot the. I'll come up. But I use traditional oats for the overnight oats. It's my favorite. The consistency. The reason why is because I don't cook it, right? I leave it overnight in the refrigerator. Okay, so we're gonna debunk 2 myths today. We're gonna debunk that eating healthy is expensive and that it's you don't have time to eat healthy. It just takes too much time. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna prepare overnight oats here in this mason jar. I love these mason jars. Like I mentioned to you before, I used to prepare these in the night, throw it in the morning before work, get ready, throw this in my purse and eat this at work, right? So it's just so cute. You could just, eat it in the comfort of your work. You close the lid and voila, right? So what I did is I added half a cup of traditional oats, half a cup, okay? Because if you add more than that, it just becomes too heavy and it's not appealing. And I'll tell you the truth, for you to be able to eat healthy, we are very visual people. If your food doesn't look good, the presentation sometimes, or if it's just too much, it kind of takes away from like you wanting to experiment and explore that food. So half a cup is perfect size for one person. And what I did, and this is part of the grains, right? And then I added, I bought this at Walmart. It has flaxseed, chia seeds, and hemp seeds all together. I added some of that in here as well. So I already added that. Did I add it last time? You know what? I don't think I did. So I'll go ahead and add it. You add a little bit of flaxseed, hemp seeds, and chia seeds into your oatmeal. So I'm kind of showing you how to prepare that. You add cinnamon. So you'll notice that in the recipe, I mentioned to you that cinnamon and blueberries is considered a superfood at City of Hope. It has been studied to have cancer-fighting properties. So guess what? I add cinnamon to my oatmeal. I add cinnamon to my coffee. I add cinnamon to my smoothies. I sprinkle cinnamon in my fresh fruits. Basically, cinnamon is that ingredient to have handy at home. So I added some cinnamon to my oatmeal. I think I already added some, so now it's going to be very cinnamon. Like I have a lot of cinnamon. But anyways, cinnamon also helps you not have to gives your oatmeal so much flavor that you don't really have to add too much sweetener. Okay, so now we're going to add more protein, right? We added some chia seeds. We added some seeds. Now we're going to add some protein. So I'm going to add some sliced almonds. So you see I have this little mason jar filled with almonds, sliced almonds. So I told you that this is my favorite breakfast, and I actually make it Monday through Friday every morning. So I have like this little section in my pantry where I have all these like cute little mason jars and all this stuff ready for me to just like make it really quick. So I just add some sliced almonds, and then you have the option to use honey or brown sugar if you like. I use honey to sweeten. It's just a better option, especially if you buy honey from your local farm. You are exposed to all these different allergens. That is very helpful for you. So honey is a better option, but if you want to play around with it, you could add some brown sugar as well. And then what I do is, if you're doing this overnight, right? I like to use almond milk. That's just something that I got used to using. I buy these at Costco. I use unsweetened almond milk. It doesn't matter the brand. I just bought this from Costco because they're cheaper and I don't have to refrigerate them. So I love buying, like I told you, I buy stuff from Costco. I go to Sprouts. I go to Walmart. I go to different stores to buy different products. So that is something that you will have to start getting used to when you start exploring different brands and products. But I use almond milk, right? I'll top it off with almond milk. Then I close it, put it in the, throw it in the refrigerator. In the morning, when I wake up, I open it. I usually add a little bit more almond milk. I'll top it with blueberries or fresh fruit or cocoa flakes, whatever you like. I always use blueberries because it's also a superfood. It has been studied at City of Hope, just as cinnamon, that it has cancer-fighting properties. In the recipe, I'll tell you exactly what it is. And if you want to find more information, you can go to the City of Hope website and write City of Hope Superfoods. Can somebody, Alejandro, find the link and add it to the chat?
Okay, I'll try to get it.
Thank you. And then top it with fresh fruit and voila, there's your overnight oats. The cool thing about this mason jar too is if you don't want it cold, you throw it in the microwave and there you go. You have warm oatmeal. On the go, easy, quick, no excuses. You always have time to eat healthy. Okay, do we have any questions? Questions, no?
So far, nothing.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, okay, so as I had mentioned before, right, we're gonna do a presentation, we're gonna do a food demonstration, and we're doing a physical activity demonstration. So today, because we it's our first time, I don't want no one to get scared about the exercise. Everyone has a different starting point. So what I want to do today is I want to demonstrate different exercises at different levels. Okay. So then next week, when I put these exercises together, these modules where we start off with a warm up, then we do an exercise and then a short cool down, you'll be able to choose what modification of exercise you can do. So that way you don't feel left out or left behind or feel like, oh, this exercise is not for me. I'm going to show you how you can do this in different levels. Okay. Also, I also would like for you to help me put a playlist together for you, so we could have some music playing in the background while we exercise. So any song that motivates you, right? It could be the song you use to clean your yard, to clean your house. Everyone has a song that they like that motivates them, or even when you're driving to work and you're not feeling it, right? Like on Mondays. Please write down that song in the chat, and I'm going to try to put a playlist together for us to exercise next week. So I had suggestions in prior program like Michael Jackson, and they gave me like different songs from Michael Jackson. I don't know, Medea, what other songs that people suggested on the other program?
By Pharrell Williams, Single Ladies by Beyonce.
There you go. So just, give me some suggestions. I want to put some music for you guys, your own playlist, so that way you could, get up and move and be excited for the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example, okay? So let's see if you could. Mind you guys, I had to move my class to my bedroom because I was extremely cold outside. And I'll give you guys gonna find me in different backgrounds. And I'll be honest with you, I have to hide from my daughter. She's 9 months and she has like this huge separation anxiety. So whenever she hears me, she starts crying. So I had to like hide. I go from outside, inside, to living room, to my room, different places. But anyways, so this is how the exercise goes, okay? Can you guys see me?
Katie, can you stop sharing your screen as far as the slideshow
Oh.
so we can see you better?
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, Mireya, you gotta keep me on track. Don't let me forget those things. Okay, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay, so just FYI, guys, when we're starting exercises, okay, we're always gonna start with marching in place. Okay. This is the exercise that you're gonna fall to whenever you're tired. Let's say we're halfway through the class, okay? We're halfway through the class. You are exhausted. You're not gonna go and sit down. You're not gonna go and call it a quits, okay? Let's say we're doing jumping jacks and you're tired. You're gonna go to this position. This is marching in place. It's called active rest, okay? Now, another exercise, okay? We're gonna do high knees, okay? This is high knees, okay? That's level 1. If this is too easy for you, you incorporate your arms. This is level 2, okay? Let's say this is too hard now. I'm tired. I don't want to do, I can't do this anymore. We're gonna go back to high knees, okay? You never stop moving. You just modify your movements, okay? Now for those who have difficulties with maybe have knee problems, maybe can't stay standing up for too long, okay? You're always gonna have a chair available, okay? And you could do these exercises sitting down. You see how you could do them sitting down? Okay? The only thing is that you're not leaning on the chair. You're not leaning all the way in the chair to do these. You sit right in the front of the chair. Let me move this little thing here. Okay. So let's move this so you can visualize it a little better. Okay, so you're gonna sit here right in the front, not using the back of the chair, and you're gonna do high knees like this. Okay? So everyone could be part of this exercise. Now I'm gonna show you a different example. Jumping jacks. You don't have to jump, okay? These are jumping jacks. Okay? If this becomes too much, you could just do the legs. You could do the arms, okay? You can do this sitting down. And I'm gonna show you the example. You could do this sitting down. Okay? I'm gonna show you squats, right? Everyone, squats have become very popular, right? Everybody wants to do squats, and everybody could do squats. Squats using a chair, okay? All you have to do is stand right in front of your chair, and you sit on it, okay? And then you sit up. You sit on it slowly. Don't throw yourself on the chair, right? Have the controlled movement while you sit, and control movement up. Control movement down, control movement up, okay? You could also use the chair for balance and support, okay? You could use a chair for balance and support, okay? And then if you don't need the chair, you squat, okay? The trick for a squat is don't let your knees go past your toes, okay? So if you start feeling like you're going forward, just stop there. You don't have to go all the way down. Stop there. If you can go all the way down, then you can. It's up to you. You listen to your body, okay? Okay, so that was our little exercise intro. I did it this way because I want everyone to see how you can modify every exercise. I don't want anyone to feel left out. I want every single one of you to be part of these exercise routines and demonstrations. And also so you could put your own exercise together and end up doing this in the comfort of your own home as many times as you want. And even when the program's over, you have learned how to conduct these exercises on your own at home. So that's why I also want to make a playlist for you. So it motivates you, right? And then I could perhaps share the playlist with all of you of what exercises that the playlist that we use to do the exercises during the program. So do any of you guys have questions?
Okay, I can't have any beans. You said meat 3 times a week, and then you can eat seafood 2 times.
Yeah.
What about the other 2? I cannot have any kind of beans at all except for like green peas or something like that, but I can't do beans.
Okay. If it's because of you know, of health condition,
Yes.
you would actually have to take all that information and actually talk to your doctor and a registered dietitian, because these are very general guidelines following the American dietary guidelines. So, you know, I can't suggest anything else that might, you know, be harmful for whatever condition you have. But, you know, like I mentioned, there's eggs, there's nuts and seeds, you know, like even for a salad, right? You could add walnuts and pecans, and now you have and some sliced eggs, and now you have a very filling salad, right?
Okay.
So just talk to your doctor and see what are the options you have.
One more question. Can you send the recipes ahead of time and not at the last minute?
Okay, so you want them, I could be sending the emails by Thursday. Does that give you enough time to prep? Because I only want to send 1 email a week.
Okay.
So I was kind of thinking Friday morning, but I could do it Thursday if that's better. It
That
works.
is, because just because I have to go to the store.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
I put a link in the chat for myplate.gov for proteins. So maybe that will help.
Okay, thank you. And then just be wary of all the information on the chat. You guys could copy paste. Alejandro copy paste the superfoods link from City of Hope, has tons of delicious recipes that you can incorporate all the superfoods that have been studied at City of Hope. I will talk about them throughout the program here and there, but just so you could have that information directly, and then myplate.gov as well. Any more questions? No? Okay, Alejandro, do we have everyone's information? Do we need to have anybody stay on with us?
We have everyone's that's currently here. We're up to date.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for attending class today. I'm excited, looking forward to this program. As I mentioned before, this is a learning environment. Every program that I am part of, I even take home and learn something new. So again, if there's anything you would like to share that you know, something that I missed, that you're like, hey, you know, this is how I cook this meal. This is a healthier alternative of a product I've tried. You know, I've had people share screenshots of ingredients that they use that they like. So please share all that information, and so we could all learn from each other. And see you guys all next Saturday. And again, the best way to contact me is via email, and you guys should be receiving your weekly emails on Thursday. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Have a good one.